Flimsy Lunch Tray here with a video for you today. As always, try to treat you good. And we are in the Massachusetts and Northern Waters in domination mode, but you may or may not have already noticed that we're not in a random, we're not in a ranked, we're not in a scenarios, we are in a co-op battle mode. And why are we in a co-op battle mode, Flimsy? Well, we are in a co-op battle mode because I've been wanting to do this video and this commentary for probably over a month, and that is just to tell you that it's okay to play co-op. I feel like the co-op battle mode ends up gets a lot of hate from different players in the community, saying that it's dumb, only really unskilled players play it, so on and so forth. And actually, I think Jingles talked about this a little bit in one of his videos last week, also saying that some players, some people it's better for them playing co-op, especially if they're dealing with mental disabilities or whatever that ends up entailing. That it's just easier for them to play in co-op than it is in random, and that is totally okay. It's whatever floats your boat. And I'll probably come back to that phrase again later too. So I wanted to list out 7 things that I just jotted down that I think is really good to say it's okay to play co-op in. And I was talking with my clan commander this past week, and he's been playing Warships I think for like 5 years. I think he has over 15,000 battles in random and over 20,000 battles in co-op. And that doesn't even include the operations or ranked matches he's played in clan battles too. So he's pretty well rounded in his experience within World of Warships. And we're kind of having that conversation a little bit about playing co-op, because sometimes I'll be jumping in with clanmates and playing co-op matches. So 7 things of why I think it's okay to play co-op. And probably most of you already know this, but this is my 7 things. Number 1. If you're new to the game, playing in co-op is a great way to get a feel for World of Warships. I remember when I first started playing, it was a lot of information to digest, regarding how the game mechanics work with the ships, maneuverability, the keys, even finding out what button blows the horn on your ship. And just understanding the mechanics, so you know what the repair party does, your fighter planes, spotter planes, how to take advantage of them. It takes a while to process those things. So it's really helpful to get a feel for the game, and that's what I did when I first started playing. Is I played co-op for a bit, so I got a feel for it, and then I remember having sweaty palms with my first couple matches in randoms, as was the nerves of playing something new against human players. Number 2 is testing out new ships. So when I'm working on ships, grinding up through a tech tree, I get a ship from the armory, or a premium ship, whatever, I always test it out in co-op and play several matches in co-op before I take the ship out into a random match. And I typically also try to get all the modules and upgrades too, usually, before I go into a random match with the ship. Because it gives you a good feel for how the ship handles, what's the shell travel time, do the shells have a high arc, do they have a low arc, the torpedoes, what is the torpedo firing angles you have on the ship. So it's a really great way to get a feel for the ship in co-op, just playing against bots, versus trying to get a feel for that all for your first time in random. So testing out new ships is a great way to do that. Number 3 is for campaigns, combat, and dockyard missions. So, for example, I had to work on a task, I think there's been 2 or 3 tasks, where you had to get 105 torpedo hits. Now in co-op, or I should say random, it can be very hard to get those 105 torpedo hits. It might take you days, depending on what type of destroyer you're playing, the reload time of that said ship, so on and so forth. Why would I spend days just trying to get these 105 torpedo hits when I can just jump into co-op battle and just YOLO rush multiple battleships, cruisers, and a destroyer, playing it smart with islands and smoke, and get my 105 torpedo hits in maybe just a day or two, instead of 5 days in randoms. So it really helps to complete those campaign, combat, and dark guard missions a lot quicker than playing a match in random, where it's sometimes frustrating to try to get those tasks unlocked, achieved in a random match because it takes longer versus when you can do it much more quicker in a co-op battle. Number 4, it's a great fallback campaign mode for when you've lost 2 random matches in a row. Go to co-op. I got this advice from my clan commander, and it took me a while to finally digest and take this to heart, because I kind of fought it at first. I would be, if I lost 2 matches random, I'm like, no, I'm going to prove that I can win the 3rd one, and I lose the 3rd one. No, I'm going to prove I'm going to win the 4th, 5th, 6th, and I was like, I really need to just stop, because sometimes it makes you wonder, if is it RNG, is it matchmaking that's just continuing to screw you, and having to play over and over again just to try to run a match. And for me, it's like this matchmaking has it out for you at that point, so I just jump in co-op and I'll just play co-op for the rest of the day, and then tomorrow I'll revisit randoms. Usually also on the weekends I only play co-op. I do play some random matches, but I tend to just play more co-op on the weekends. Reasons for is that, and I do not mean this in a bad way, but it's going to come across in a bad way, is that the skill level of the player pool. So for those who only play World of Warships on the weekends because you're too busy during the week, work, school, whatever, you just notice that it's harder to win. You struggle more maybe with a team or something during the weekends. And so for myself, it's like, that's cool. Whatever works for people's schedules, I'm just going to jump into co-op more or less during the weekends. So that's a great way. Number 5, for our time here, is testing out new tactics in your ships, whether you're a carrier, destroyer, cruiser, battleship. I used co-op when I was testing out drive-bys in my battleships, because getting used to different ships have different turret traverse times. So on my Massachusetts, it has a relatively good turret traverse time, but the Georgia, that thing's so slow if you don't take the turret traverse skill. It's like a 2-point skill. I don't remember what it's called. So testing out new tactics. Number 6 is, if you just want to blow off some steam, you've had a long day, you're frustrated, and the last thing you want to do is just lose multiple matches in a row in randoms. I'll just only play co-op, just so I don't let myself get worked up, if that makes sense. I try to be a pretty positive, relaxed guy, but sometimes I just want to relax and chill. And number 7 is just to get to have fun and blow ships up. Even if it's a video game, who doesn't like blowing stuff up? So, just like we did in this match in the Massachusetts. So if you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have subscribed, thanks so much. And comment if you have questions or thoughts regarding this discussion, and that it's okay to play co-op. So you've heard it from Flimsy Lunch Tray, and whatever floats your boat works. So until next time, take care.